All right, you guys. Thank you for joining in, everyone. Um, so, if you have been paying attention to, the marketing that I'm putting out there, all of my posts and everything, you know that October 4th we have this home buyer workshop that's coming up, and so I've been hosting these interviews with the panelists and giving them an opportunity to just kind of touch on some of the points that they're going to further speak on at that October 4th date. We wanted to have this kind of going into this fourth quarter. A lot of people at the beginning of the year tend to have a goal of home ownership as either just a new goal for the new year, that New Year's resolution. And so we wanted to have it early enough to prepare them, or whoever wants to purchase a home and ready to kind of dive in and not wait until the last minute. So, if this is the first time that you're joining in with me, my name is Andrea Wilson. I am a real estate broker here in Cleveland, Ohio, and owner of Brick House Realty. And so, I'm approaching 2 decades in this business. And so I've worked with buyers, sellers, real estate investors, anything pretty much related to real estate. I am your go to person. I can get you connected with various resources. And one of those resources that I have in this video with me today is Darlene from over at Crefco Financial. I work with Darlene all the time. Her and Samir over at Crefco Financial, they are amazing. If you have any questions about loans, they are here to help. So I will let her formally introduce to everyone.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And yes, you are the best in real estate that I know for sure. I'm Darlene Rashid, broker and owner originator with Crefco Financial Group. I share this business with my husband, Samir, and we've been in business for 15 years. I've been doing it for 15 years, coming up on. Samir's been doing it for 26 years. So you can imagine our combined tenure and energy and education that we have with us. We just really love to be able to share that.
I think that definitely speaks volumes. The folks that have weathered the storm of real estate and have just seen the various markets kind of come and go. And even though this market that we're in right now, I believe is kind of a different market than what I've seen in the past has, I know for me, kind of prepared me with anything that was to come, right? And so, one of the things I know for sure is the education piece around real estate and making sure that I know all of the changes and everything that's happening in the business so I can give that information back to my client. And so, that's what I appreciate about you guys being in the business for so long. You've seen the changes. So, like, even though it may be look a little different right now, you kind of have these aha moments of, this kind of reminds me of this time, and so you can position your clients in a good space. Quick question for you: can you tell me what's a common mistake that you see that maybe potential buyers, first time home buyers, maybe that they make when they start out thinking about buying a home?
Yeah, a lot of common mistakes are making changes in their current circumstance.
Yeah.
And they do this all the time. So that's the reason why we try to push as much education out to folks. The earlier, the better. So, specifically, I just had someone who actually went out and acquired some new debt. And I had someone who actually changed jobs during the process and they didn't lose the home, but we did have to refactor their loan because their income changed. So some common mistakes that people make is really not speaking up and sharing that information. So what we try to do is make sure that we overeducate. A lot of times it takes people about 6 or 7 times to hear the same thing over and over again in order for it to resonate. So even though we talk to them at the beginning, even though we say, hey, listen to videos, there's a number of different common mistakes, like just going out and changing their credit circumstance. That's a big one that always happens.
Yeah. So when do you think if someone's looking to purchase a home, how far out should they reach out to a lender?
Yeah, we do have people that reach out to us about 6 months in advance to start to prepare because they want to know. They want to know, can I afford to buy a home? How do I calculate my income? Am I ready? And they want that support from someone to say, yeah, you can go for it. So a lot of our clients, they'll reach out maybe 6 months. Some might reach out immediate and say, hey, I'm ready to buy right now. I think it's a good time. And that continues to happen, especially right now, even with the market shifting the way it is. So 6 months, sometimes even a year, people do it. But you can reach out as far in advance you want to start to plan and prepare. And we're just readily available to help them.
Okay. So a lot of times people will say that they think it's like too expensive to purchase a home. Um, so you guys are typically running the numbers. And so do you look at what they're paying or ask them what they're paying for rents?
Yeah, we do. We'll ask, what are you paying for rent today? We also ask, what do you think you can afford? What's the maximum amount you think you can afford to pay for your monthly mortgage that would include, your escrow with your homeowner's insurance and your property taxes all bundled together into your monthly mortgage payment. And we do that just so they can start to have an idea, hey, I'm paying 900 in rent. I have heard that recently, 900. 1200 is most common. But let's just say 1200. I'm paying 1200 in rent. I would rather pay 1200 towards my monthly mortgage. And they'll
Mhm.
give us that equivalent. And what we do is we're looking at what can you afford based on $1200 a month. So we'll give
Okay.
you one or two scenarios that'll, let you know, hey, here's the highest amount that you can afford based on your income and your current debt load, as well as, hey, here's how much you can get based on $1,200 a month.
Yeah, when I go out and talk to some folks, they feel like, oh, it's more expensive to purchase a home than it would be for them to rent. And so I think a lot of it has to do like they're talking to other people, and
Mhm.
it's almost like they're scaring them like you don't want to own a home because oh, now you have to take care of like maintenance and different things like that. Um so how realistic is it for someone to purchase a home, or when you're seeing rent payments in comparison to mortgage payments, do you see it more favorable going in one way or the other?
Yeah, I definitely see it being more favorable to buy versus to rent because rents are going up. The money that you put into your rent, you're paying to investors like me who may have a rental property, and that helps me with my write-offs at the end of the year. That helps me with my investments and preparing for my retirement and things like that, or my wealth management. So I would rather see you prepare your own.
Yeah.
And when you're buying your own home, maybe it's your starter home. Maybe it's something that's going to be an investment for you, and then you're going to purchase your dream home second. Affordability is still here because rents are rising. They're continuing to rise, and you're going to gain, and home prices are rising too. They're still there. So you're gaining equity, when you own your own home. So, we'll talk a little bit about that coming up here next Wednesday. Very excited. It's the fourth quarter, so we're going to include 4 key points for people to know that's going to help them, prepare to buy even starting up this fourth quarter.
Mm. So this just made me kind of think of something that I really never touch point on. And so when I'm going out, obviously I'm always looking for clients to work with. And we typically start with family and friends of people like, hey, or have you thought about buying a home, investing in a home? Um, Part of the reason for me is, I want to make sure that I am getting the messaging out to my family and friends and loved ones and letting them know, like, hey, we need to be building wealth for ourselves and our family. But there have been a couple situations where it may not have been said, but I feel like the individual was so close to me that they may have felt like, well, I don't want Andrea knowing my personal financial business, right? And so what I've seen happen is I look up and they're like under contract or working with another agent, or they like, oh, I bought a home. And I'm like, wow, well, why didn't you come to me? Because I, especially with the amount of experience and knowledge in this industry, I want to make sure that you are having a great experience buying the right home. And so as you're sitting here talking too, it has me thinking like, a lot of times people like we have a financial conversation from the standpoint, like high level, very generic with our clients on my end. Hey, do you know how long have you been on your job? Have you filed your taxes? Roughly, do you know what your credit score is? But we, as the real estate agent, we really do not go in depth with what's on your credit report, how much money you're making, and all of that information. That's all on your side. And so I guess this is a great time to even touch on that point of, do you share that information, their financial information with
We
them?
have a it's our duty as licensed brokers, loan officers in our profession to not share any financial information with our partners. That is only to be shared between us and the client. So that's confidential information. And in fact, you sign documents up front stating that. We abide by privacy policies as well. So, we have a duty as professionals to not share that information. Even members, we do not. Even when it comes to, you're getting your home, and if the realtor says, "Hey, I want a copy of that appraisal," we don't share that unless the buyer says, "Hey, can you send a copy to my realtor?" Because they own that, they paid for it. So, I do hear that a lot, and that's not the case. You're not shared with any information from that standpoint. So, but I would actually encourage family members to reach out to people like you. If you have a family member in the business, one of the things that I like most about you and your company is, you guys favor the buyer. You favor the buyer. I mean, sellers too, but I'm saying you favor the buyer in that. But I'm thinking about the buying side of it, and you're going out there to negotiate on their behalf, and you're trying to make sure that they get the best bang for their buck, and that also you're trying to get closing costs. So sometimes that's a sticky situation where someone wants to get closing costs. They want to minimize the amount of money that they have to come to the table out of pocket, and it takes a strong realtor to be able to do that. So if you have a family member, I would encourage that to definitely happen. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. So you guys, if you came in late and you didn't hear, scrolling across the bottom, you'll see we're having a home buyer workshop coming up on October 4th. It's next week, Wednesday, from 6 to 8 p.m. We're over at the, Warrensville Heights Library. If you would like the registration link, you could text the phone number below, the 216-220-7886, and I will text you the link for the workshop. Darlene is going to be there. Her husband, Samir, is going to be there. We have title. We have home inspectors. We have lots of the Brickhouse Realty agents that will be presenting on that day. This is just like the first step to get you the information. We always say knowledge is power. And so even if you feel like you're not in a position to purchase a home in the next month or two, maybe this is a plan within the next year, or this is a goal, for you for 2024 or New Year's resolution. You want to make sure you get access to the information now. Now, I already had a couple people asking, when is the next one? I don't know when the next one is. I can't guarantee that we'll even have another one this year. So if you can't make it, send me a text message. We do offer a one-on-one consultation that goes over a lot of the steps to home ownership. But if you can, just stop and join us on October 4th. Let's just get you the information firsthand so that you can make the best decision for you. Is there anything that you want to share with everyone that maybe we didn't touch on?
No, just a reminder. Hey, if they didn't hear me say it, we're going to be touching on 4 key points to help you get started in your path to homeownership. So that pathway is key, and we've got 4 points to help you do that.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Darlene, for
Thank
joining
you.
in with me. And hopefully we'll see you guys next week, October 4th. Outside of that, have a good day.
Bye. Thanks.